And welcome back, everybody. That's right. I said welcome back because I know you were just listening to our podcast, The Podcaster Nation. Folks, you were listening to us. You came back because you wanted more. We have so much more for you. This guy is bursting with energy across the table for me right now. I'm not sure how I'm going to contain him. And you know what? I may not. I think I'm just going to hand him the reins and let him go today because he's got a ton to share with you guys. And I cannot wait for this. Been really looking forward to this interview. Folks, this is the place. This is the podcast that is for podcasters. It's about podcasters and it's done by podcasters. Our host is, of course, a podcaster and a lot of other things that he's going to tell you about, which is fantastic. This is the place where we come together to lift each other up. And this is the place where the rising tide raises all ships. So let's get sailing and bring in our guest. Today, the host of the Mission Matters series of shows, please welcome Adam Torres. Adam,
Oh,
how are you
come
doing
on.
today, man?
The podcaster nation. Get it, Rory. I'm excited to finally be on. I'm excited to get out here and talk to some podcasters and really to connect. That's what it's all about. So the podcasting it's completely changed my life. And my hope is to inspire others to join the podcasting nation, not just the podcaster nation show, but to join the sport of podcasting. And yes, I say it's a sport. It's full contact. Like get in there and record some episodes.
I love that. It is absolutely a sport. Full contact is not a joke. When you get into podcasting, it's huge. I know you have a ton to share, brother. So let me just say, tell everybody who's listening, who is Adam Torres? What are you about, man? Go for it.
So I was in finance for almost 14 years. So I was a finance guy, didn't think anything about media. So I started at my first firm when I was 16, working at Raymond James and Associates in their IRA department. Fast forward, one day I write a book. I didn't even want to write a book. I wrote the book because my mentor said I had to write a book, and I said, and at this time, I will admit. I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder. I was a finance guy. All I'd been around was brokers, investment people. That's all I knew. So suit and tie, that's all I knew. And I thought that people that wrote books were broke. I was like, why am I going to spend my time on a $5 product? I don't care about a book. Are you kidding me? It's a waste of my time. My mentor's like, Adam, nope, you got a firm, you're managing money, you're doing well, but you have a story, you have something you can share, you can help other people. And so reluctantly, I wrote my first book, and it was a self-published book. It's pretty ugly in terms of graphic design, everything else. It's my story, so that I stick by. But if you look at it, rudimentary is an understatement. I wrote that thing. Well, I didn't even write it. I spoke it, and I had it transcribed. I was on a train doing some traveling, and I was like, all right, 12 different topics, a couple different topics. I spoke it, put out the book, self-published it, didn't want to put any money or marketing behind it, but the thing worked. I found myself on speaking gigs. I was traveling as far away as China and multi-city tours. People were finding me on LinkedIn. They were resonating with my message. And the interesting thing is that it was helping people. And when I think about it, like that's what it was, just a shift. It was like, oh, wait a minute, this isn't about me. This isn't about that. Like my story, even though I had a chapter, for example, on compound interest. Okay, big deal. You can Google chat compound interest. Now you can chat GPT it. You can do all these other things, right? Compound interest. It's not like I invented this. It's not like there aren't a million books on it, possibly. Who knows? But for whatever reason, that chapter was helping people and my words and my connecting. So then I started to start to understand what it was to share your story to help others. And Rory, the reason why I'm even on your show today, and I even just started guesting, was because I want to encourage other people to share their story because of what it's done for me, not just professionally or personally or monetarily, but because I look at it as we're participating in writing our own histories. At one point, we didn't get to do that. If you didn't have access to the tools, if you weren't of a certain class, if you weren't of a certain lineage, then you just didn't have the access to do it. Now everyone can participate. So I want people to participate. I want them to get in the game.
Beautiful. And that was one of the reasons why I was so happy to have you on, too. Everybody has a story, but yours, at least, I don't want to say it ends because your story's not over, brother, but your story currently is, you've achieved a lot. And I love the fact that, other podcasters out there who are doubting themselves. And that's what happens to a lot of us who are wondering, should I stay in the game? Am I ever going to hit this? Am I ever going to do that? They can look at you, they can hear your story, and they can look up and go, you know what? If he can do it, I can
Mm,
get this done over here with me. So I love that you're leading by example in that way. I think it's
yeah.
absolutely fantastic. And you've referenced your story.
Mm.
Brother, tell us your story.
So now picture this. I have this book. I have this book out. It's doing well. I'm still in finance. And then the other co-founder of this company, his name's Shirag. And at this time I still had an investment firm. I was still doing that. And he's like, you got to do a podcast. I'm like, I'm not doing a podcast. Podcasts are stupid. Are you kidding me? What am I going to sit in waste my time talking to people? I'm trying to sell books. You notice a theme here, right, Rory? Like, I don't want to do it. All right. Just leave me alone.
I
That's
love that
the
you're being
theme.
honest about it. That's
No, but
fantastic.
that's the theme. I didn't even know what a podcast was. I was like, what? I don't listen to a pod. What is it? It's dumb. I'm like, no. And so he's like, well, somebody's got to do it. And I'm like, all right, fine. And so I don't even know if I could call my first show a podcast. I would call it recorded conversations over my phone. I did over 300 episodes that they were not edited. There was zero production value and they were uploaded directly from my phone. And guess what? We built an audience. Insane. So all the people, if you're at home thinking about like, oh, I don't have the right mic or what production or what, let me tell you, like, and we nothing. So production zero, recorded phone calls uploaded to the wrong platform because I'm not going to get into that one. That'll be in the niches, but like just pay for hosting, okay? Don't get the cheap one that's not pay for hosting so you can own your subscribers and everything else. Pay the money and you'll be fine. I'm just going to leave that tip there. If you're on a free platform right now, there's a reason why it's free. You're not getting pushed. You're not getting whatever. You don't own your subscribers. You have no data. Your show starts to grow. You're in trouble. You lost. You already lost. Your show starts to grow. You lose. Your show doesn't grow. You lose. So just pay for your hosting. Okay. Make sure you're somewhere good. That's all. I'll leave it at that one. Fast forwarding the story a bit. We're, uh, we're doing episodes, and sometimes it's easy to look at somebody where they're at and think like, oh, okay, like they're good or they're outgoing or they're this or they're that, and they can do it. I can't. I was so scared when I did my first episodes. I didn't even use my real name.
No
Think
kidding.
about it. A podcaster and somebody that didn't even use my real name. I didn't think anybody was going to listen to it like outside of my friend circle. And it was for me just for fun, like a little joke. So I used a nickname that I had, didn't even use my real name, didn't use, and let me get back to the fear part of it. I didn't go on camera until after 1,500 episodes because I was so scared. You turn on a camera, Rory, and I would forget my name. I couldn't do an intro. I couldn't do anything.
Really?
This is real. This is real. So when somebody talks
Huh.
about like world's worst podcaster, maybe I still am not the best. I'm working on it. That's all, that's all up to that's per taste. I'm working on getting better every day, but like I'm 1,500 plus episodes in before I even turn on a camera. And if we talk about going on other people's shows, that's after 9 years. I'm starting to go on people's shows. So,
Wow.
so you could do it too. Like that's the bottom line here. You could do it too if you're making excuses. Like if you could say your name and you're good, you already won. You beat me.
That's so crazy. I don't know. I hear that a lot from older folks, because
Mm,
we didn't, grow up with, a phone in our pocket where we're always
yeah,
talking into it. But for younger folks, I rarely hear that they have that, anxiety about,
yeah.
being on camera.
Well, think about it this
So,
way though. I was in finance. So that's
hmm,
I managed a couple hundred million, a little over $200 million. So
wow.
I was a behind the desk guy. I was like, why you I don't want to know a lot of people. Like
Right.
the people that I know, like are my client base. They're a certain network, a certain circle. Like it was and that's one of the reasons why I ultimately did decide to go full time in what I'm doing is because I found that the more successful I was in that, the smaller my world became. I was helping people, but less people with more money, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not against that, but that's that
Right.
game. That's that game. And I just felt like I wanted to do a little bit more than make money. I mean, you can still make money. I still make money, of course, or I wouldn't be doing this. That's a given. But I also wanted to focus on impact too.
Nice.
And so that's where it kind of some of that transition took place. Is like, do I want my whole life to be like this, or do I want to kind of focus on impact too in a way that I felt I could? So that's a reason, or another reason for the transition.
Which is great. I mean, we don't have enough people going out there making impact, so I love that you chose that route. But you're still a long way off from where you are now. I mean, you come up with this idea somehow. I mean, right now you're the host of what is it? Eight, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight shows just on
Hmm.
your own that you're doing. Back then you're sitting here going, I don't even want to do podcasting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, my goodness, how do you go from there, and I don't want to be on camera to, the empire that you're sitting in right now? I mean, that's a big leap, brother.
I mean, that's all God. There's nothing else to it. Like it's all God. There's no like, come on, it's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous story. Like seriously. Like there's nothing else there. It's more of a like you step. You ask to step, you step, and then you're rewarded and you're shown something new. Like I'll give you an example of like the exact moment that I knew that I was gonna leave my other career and move into this line. So I was living in a new place. I was saying a prayer at night, and I'm like, I'm kind of like both businesses are growing, and I'm trying to think about like which route I'm going. So of course I'm praying. I always pray for discernment. I always pray, and I'm like, God, I don't know what to do here. Like you got to tell me what to do. And I said jokingly, and I remember this very clearly. I said jokingly, you don't have to like split the Red Sea for me or anything. Like, by the way, that's how me and God talk. So I feel like sometimes he puts me in a headlock, gives me a noogie. I'm his child. It's fine. So punishes me when I need it. Fine, it's okay. But so I'm like, all right, God, and I'm talking a little sarcastic because that's the kind of relationship we have. It's okay, He made me. So, so I'm like, you don't have to part the Red Sea or anything for me, but come on, tell me what to do here. Give me some advice. So I go to sleep, whatever. I've been unpacking all day, and I wake up the next morning, and I put my feet on the ground, and they're wet, and I'm like, am I sleeping? Like, come on, like, and I just have like this flash in my head of what my last thing I said before I went to bed. You don't have to part the Red Sea. So I'm thinking I'm sleeping, and so I'm like, I go back to bed, and I thought this is a vivid dream, right? My feet are wet, and I go back to go, and then I feel like, wait a minute. Now my bed's wet. Okay, I'm awake. So, I go back to stand up, and I'm like, okay, it's all wet, and I'm wondering like the lower level is flooded, and I look over, and as soon as I turn on the light and I look down, and I unpacked everything, and the last thing I had to do is in my office I had my certificates. So if you think about like I had my Series 7, my 6, my 63, I had my insurance licenses, and for everybody that has ever been to maybe like a doctor's office or something just like a financial advisor, you kind of hang all those things in the background, your degrees, all your other things that lets somebody know when they come into your office, okay, this person is licensed and they're legit.
Yeah.
So the same concept. And so all of those certificates and all that stuff ruined, completely ruined. The water got them all. And I was like, all right, God, that's a little eccentric. You could have given me another sign. Did you have to flood my lower roof? I get it. Okay, fine. And so I literally, right that moment, like barefoot, just took all of the certificates, everything else, and I took a picture of it. I have a picture of it. I went outside, I threw them in the dumpster, and I was like, okay, I got it. Thank you. Thank you. Now- and so then I'm like, now let me go figure out where this water is coming from. So logs on that end of it, the water heater, the bottom of the water heater let out that night, and it ruined. What did it ruin? All the certificates. So I'm
Oh
so
my
so for
gosh.
anybody that's listening to this, that's like, okay, Adam's making this up. Where did the water come from? God controls water heaters. It's fine. It's cool. He can do whatever he wants. It's okay.
And that's what you get for making the joke about the Red Sea.
Now but
That's right. He was like, I'll part your Red Sea, buddy. Boom,
then
water here,
done. But
gone.
it was just so clear, and even just outside of the physical side of it, like my heart was just moved at that moment. Like I just knew.
Yeah,
Like you just knew. I just knew. Like there was zero doubt at that point. And not saying that it was some upward trajectory from that moment on or I was blessed. No, now the pain really started because I knew what I had to do. I still didn't know
right.
how to do it. So now that was just like step and then we'll step, right?
Yeah, no kidding. I love that you feel like you've been called to do what you're doing. I think that's
Mm,
fantastic. I want to I got to give you credit. Your relationship with God is your relationship with God, brother. And I love
Yeah.
that you are just that comfortable in it. It's like, this is how I talk to him. This is how we talk to each other. Nobody else has to like that or approve of that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's for you. And I love that
Hmm.
that's your attitude. And I'm sure he uses that in you quite a
Are
bit.
you kidding me? All day long. All day long.
That's beautiful. That is
It's got
beautiful.
humor, I'm telling you.
Right. So you are flooded out. He has said, look, wake up. Okay. Smack, smack. Wake up.
Yeah.
Here you are. You're like, I got the message.
Yeah.
You're still not a mogul, right? I mean,
Nope.
so, I mean, you founded this whole thing.
Hmm.
Where does all that come from, man?
So fast forward a bit, like myself and the other co-founder, Shirag, we're still, we're still publishing, we're still doing interviews, we're still doing things. And I think one of the next biggest moments of growth was another story, like another sign. So essentially, that was my first like step, and you'll be rewarded moment. Okay, now I'm in this position. Now fast forward, and I'm working, doing these interviews, doing all this other stuff, figuring it out, trying to obviously want to earn more revenue. And one day I'm doing an interview, and the original brand was called Money Matters.
Hmm.
So, and that
Okay.
was based off my first book because I was also in finance. So we thought it was going to be some money platform, right? It was called Money Matters. One day I'm interviewing somebody, and it was, and the guest out of nowhere says, "You know what, Adam? Money matters, but mission matters too." And right that moment, it was like God just elbowed me in the stomach. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
what? Leave me out. What? This again? It was like a legit elbow. It was a little sharp. Heck, man.
Nice.
So I couldn't get it out of my head after that interview. So then I called the other co-founder, Shirag, and I'm like, Shirag, what do you think about the name Mission Matters for our company? Now, mind you, at this point in time, we have approaching 2,000 interviews. We've published probably 4 to 5 books, somewhere in that line. At least, 50 plus people, maybe 100 plus people in that under that brand. We have a website, we have social media built out, we have a functioning, working media company, right? Under the name Money Matters. So, including a podcast, all the other things you can think of. So, out of nowhere, I tell Shrai, yeah, what do you think about the name Mishmash? He's like, oh man, that's great. Whatever, whatever. We're talking about some other things. I brought it up just kind of like haphazardly. Then, like, 2 to 3 weeks later, she calls me out of the blue, out of nowhere, and he's like, hey, Adam, what do you think about the name Mission Matters for our company? And I was like, Shirag, that is a great idea. And because I knew God was talking to him. It was like God
Yeah.
messing with Saul. I don't know. Like it just is what it is, right? Like you're like, and not saying Shirag is Saul, right? I was watching King David, the his that documentary on Prime. So Shirag, if you're watching this, I'm not calling you Saul, but but I will say that he didn't remember the conversation, and I didn't bring it up. And like any other good co-founder, if hey, you have an idea, your co-founder wants to roll with it, and it's his idea, great, I'm clapping on it. So
Right.
that's how you get it done. So I told him, hey, if we got enough money in the bank to buy the domain, because I already know it's going to be taken, are we going to do it? I'm not even going to look it up, but you got to commit now before I look it up. He's like, okay. So looked it up, we bought it and paid more than I ever thought I'd pay for a domain in my life. And then within 9 days, we had started the podcast from scratch. Getting back to that little nugget that I gave before, we weren't paying for hosting, so we basically had to start over with the subscribers, with everything else, because now we wanted to have the right infrastructure in place. So we started literally at episode 0 again. We launched a brand new website. We launched 30 plus social media channels because now the shows were niched out based on category. So hence that's where the 8 shows came from. And we launched an entire brand in 9 days, which is absolutely impossible. I don't know exactly how we did that, but we did. So within 9 days, and then from that point on, it was just another stratosphere. And that's another God moment. It's like, literally asking to start over again, like have faith in this. Like this is bigger than money. This is mission. Like you have the opportunity to help, hundreds of millions, if not a billion people, which is our goal, is to inspire others to share their story. And that was that moment of like, step and you will be rewarded and not knowing what's on the other side of that. Like if you think about it, think about being 1,500 episodes in and realize you don't have the right hosting. You got to start at 0. Pain,
not a good
brother.
look.
Pain.
Yeah, not a good look, man.
The content's still out there, but it's not the same, function. It's not the same monetary value. It's not the same brand. It's not the same. It doesn't do what it could have done, right?
Right.
But we were rewarded. So that's when I knew that was kind of our next big jump, if you will.
I see. Okay, so tell everybody, like, because we're talking about founding the company, you're talking about doing
Hmm.
interviews, but what is the company exactly? Who does it serve?
Yeah.
Who do you serve through the company and how?
Mhm. So at our roots, we're a media brand. So at our roots, and when you think about the media side of things, so I cover, I mean, huge events like the Milken Global Conference, CES, Bitcoin 2025 that's going on right now. Like we cover huge events. I interview CEOs, everything from Fortune 500 CEOs to you name it, to into sole proprietors. Like it depends. We're more so after the story than anything. So that's one, at our roots, we're a media company, and then we have different profit centers like any company, just like Forbes. So think about you have Forbes, then you have Forbes Council, then you have Forbes Books, then you have Forbes Podcasts. We're just like Forbes, except not quite as big. But we have our division for podcasting. We've launched over 200, going on 250 shows now for clients. We have a podcast network. We've launched over 40 shows on our podcast network. So those are shows that we own and distribute. And those are our hosts internal. Then we have the shows that I host myself, which are 8 different shows in our catalog of over 6,000 episodes. And for context, I'll do between 1,500 and 2,000 episodes this year. We have our events division. We'll do, 50 plus events this year minimum. And then that's always a big thing for us too, especially getting the community together. Then we have our book publishing division. We've published over 400 authors, and everything from our anthology series, our Mission Matters anthology series. We just came out with, I can't believe it, our 11th edition. I'm holding up a copy for those that are watching on video. They could see it. For those that are audio only in their car, I'm holding up a beautiful book called Mission Matters, and it's our mission-based leaders share inspiring stories on leadership and success. So think of it like the old school chicken soup for the soul book, but this is for the same thought process where it's an anthology and everybody contributes a chapter. But in this case, it's entrepreneurs, executives, and experts, and they're typically business themes under that particular brand. And that's really and then we also have a personal brand accelerator. So where we help other people build and manage their personal brands and social media. So that's on the back end, just some of the profit centers.
I mean, boom, right? I asked this question, you just dropped that entire nuclear everything on everybody. That's a lot. I mean, so this is you guys, but what kind of crew do you have make putting all this into play? What kind of crew do you have working for you?
So the way that we've been able to do this is by design. I tell people this all the time. So I spend 70% of my time in front of camera and behind a microphone, the other 30% running the company as CEO. All the profit centers have executives that run their divisions. These are intelligent people. Some of them have run funded startups themselves. It's kind of like the Warren Buffett model, where if you get people that are really great at what they do and bought into it, then, let them do what they do. And obviously there's oversight and there's strategy and there's the company and the brand and all of those things. But we've been very fortunate to attract amazing individuals to work for us that are really bought in. And I mean, if you think about a company you're going to work for, I mean, no offense, but like God came over to, but Mission Matters. Come on. Who doesn't want to work at Mission Matters? Come on. I wish I was applying to some place called Mission Matters. I wish they'd hire me.
Right?
And I
Exactly.
didn't have to run this thing. Oh, sorry. No, I'm sorry, God. No, he's listening. Like, what?
I like it. All right, so are you you're building podcasts,
Mhm.
you're launching shows. Are these for businesses primarily that you're doing this for? Are they for independent, indie podcasters? Who's your target in this?
All of the above. All of the
Everybody.
above. We've done them for business owners. We've done them for, I mean, celebrities. We've done them for, name it. All of the above. All of the above are very much where I'm located in Los Angeles. Our team is spread out everywhere from Los Angeles to Phoenix to, we have Argentina, Philippines. I mean, we're full service on that side of things too. So if somebody wants to launch a show, I mean, we don't have 4,000 plus employees like iHeartRadio. So I can't say we're the best ever. I mean, that's a lot lot of employees, right? They're doing things right. They have radio towers, but I would argue that we're definitely some of the most in launching over two or approaching 250 shows. Actually, I think we just crossed the 250 officially in the last week or two because we had five more shows launched. But we're definitely among the most experienced podcast producers in the world, just even from quantity of episodes. My catalog alone over 6,000 episodes. For the system, just for my shows, think about it, 1,500 to 2,000 episodes. That's 40 shows, easy. If you
Right.
think about anybody else or just quantity, like just my catalog that I do on a yearly basis. So then you take all of our other shows in account. I don't know too many other companies that put out that many episodes at that quality.
Yeah, no, I mean the numbers are astronomical that you're talking about over here. And I mean, I love it. I think it's fantastic. It gives everybody else something to aspire to and again, hope because if you can, come into this and put up that kind of thing, then that's great. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are wondering about the hours that you put in a day because
Yeah.
you're running 8 shows by yourself
Yeah.
and recording them. There's a lot of folks who couldn't take that on, period,
Yeah.
along with everything else. So, I mean, how's that working? Because you said you want to be behind the mic,
I
right?
don't actually think most people should. This is a do as I say, not as I do moment. No, I'm serious. Like there's
Okay.
not because here's the thing. I've just been doing this longer and I started out really, really bad. Like my quantity is overcompensating for lack of talent in the beginning. Like you shouldn't have to do as many episodes as me. Like you shouldn't. Like if you could say your name, if you could do all these other things, like you're fine. Like you can. If you can hold a conversation, I was just really stiff, really dry. I can't help it. Like that's the truth. Just to even be able to talk and be vulnerable and have these type of conversations. I never had them in my life, especially in a professional setting. I was in finance. It's just different. At least
Yeah.
the way that I did it, it was different. I'm not saying that everybody's like that. But in my opinion, like if you're a podcaster out there and you're putting out this many episodes without any infrastructure, without a team promoting it, I would argue you're doing it wrong. I would argue you're better off doing one episode per week, really, really consistently. And if you have more time, spend time promoting that one episode because your
Mm.
marketing ultimately is going to be what does it. Like your marketing and your social media reach and your guesting or going on other people's shows and telling people about it. Because the problem is most podcasters don't have people around them that even know they have a podcast. They think because they told their cousin they had a podcast, their cousin remembers. They don't. They don't even know you have a podcast. So if you're stuck at 20 or 50 downloads, it's because your friends don't even know you have a podcast, even though you told them 10 times. I had a cousin, this is a true story, maybe a year and a half ago. I went to college with him, like he's one of my closest cousins. He tells me, Adam, I think I heard you have a podcast. What's it called? I want to listen to it. It's a true story. True story. True story. I'm like, you think I have a podcast? I'm like, how many conversations have we had? He was dead serious.
Wow. And it's what you've been doing
So if
all
they
this
don't
time.
know, so if he doesn't know, I mean, we're Facebook friends or everything else. Like, how much content do we put out that has this? If he doesn't know, and I've done this many episodes and been in this business now 9 years, and he's a close family member, then do you think that your cousin knows? Not if you're stuck at 20 downloads.
Man.
Do you
Wow.
think your buddies that you went to school with, your high school friends, your, I don't care, middle school friends, you don't have any friends, you better go make some. Like spend more time being a likable person versus, and meeting people and going out and shaking hands. You do that, you're better off doing that than recording 1,000 episodes because you need somebody to listen to them too. So a
Nice.
lot of people, they get comfortable on the recording side and they wonder why the show's not growing and they think, maybe I'll like have this amazing conversation and I'll get better as a host and this and that. But still, you gotta promote. So going to events, like creating promo material, creating swag, all those different things, like it matters. Like that, like leaving people with a memorable experience. Like I have a I'm seeing if I can find one right here. We have a show that we just launched. It starts with you, and the host she has this amazing sticker that she hands out, and that sticker is like I'm just looking at my desk. I'll hold it up if I can find it. She has an amazing sticker that she hands. Okay, I found one. Hold on, there it is. So look at this sticker. And so she hands out these stickers by the hundred. For those that are listening to audio only, I'm holding up a sticker. It's a round smiley face, and it has her handle on the bottom that says "at it starts with U," and the U is YOO. She hands out hundreds of these things, and that's why her show's growing because she meets people in person. She's nice. She's handing out stickers to people. Of course, people are going to look at it. They're going to start that versus like, oh, I got a podcast. You should check it out. Give people stuff. I have these little poker chips that I hand out too for my show. I've handed out thousands of them, thousands of poker chips with a QR code on the back of them that have my face on the front and the podcast cover. I've had people that like a year, year and a half, 2 years later, I'll see them at a different event or at something else, and they'll be like, "Oh, I got one of these. I still have this. I met you in Vegas like 2 years ago at CES or at this or at that." People remember.
Nice. So through your services in your company, do you perform these services for people, or do you teach them how to do this on their own, or both?
For the personal branding side, we do
Yeah.
teach. We do teach. So we have an 8 week accelerator side of things. And so we do that. But in terms of like what's interesting is our podcast agency, that evolved out of what I thought was going to work originally, which was teaching people. I thought people wanted me to teach them how to do it. And what we found was people going through the course, by the end of the course, they were like, "Can you just do it for us?" They were
I get
like,
a lot of that.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
can you just do it for us?" Like, and so at that point, it was just we just don't hit. No offense to anybody else, we don't hit the and anybody else that is in this demographic. It's okay. I think it was my finance background, but we just don't do very well with the 20 sums. Like the Gary V crowd. Like if you're 20, 18, 19, like the people that are really, they got a little bit more time, they can do it themselves too. They have time. We're more in the executive crowd, like more a little bit more tenured. Our demographic's gonna be probably like mid 30s to like mid 60s.
Okay.
So that usually that level of person is a little bit further in their career. They got a little bit more money and they're just like, yeah, I like it all, but I need to do these other things. Can you just do it for me? How much is it? If it's the right price, I'd rather you just do it.
No, that's very fair, and I can see that.
Yeah.
So then when it comes to like working with businesses, are
hmm
you showing the businesses how to run their own podcast, or are you actually producing the show, hiring a host, and providing them the service, so to speak?
At least in our demographic, most businesses that we have, usually the CEO or somebody or their investor relations or something else, like normally they're coming to us with the host. We've only had a couple people that wanted to hire other hosts, and I've also worked on some shows and I've been the host and also done that too. So we've had some shows that have hired us for that, but that's more for usually there's set seasons like there's set seasons. It's not normally an ongoing show that's going to be permanent. Like not normally. Like at least in my experience, in our experience, we haven't had too many people like that.
Interesting. And you're still publishing books too, on top of everything else you're doing with
We just
podcasts.
had volume 11, man. It's a trip. Let me tell you. We have a book launch happening at the Roosevelt Mansion or the Roosevelt House in New York, and it's hosted by a congresswoman that's going to be hosting it, and it's just that's like where the Clintons hold like their galas and other things like that. I'm like, that's insane. For when I talk about God putting things together, come on, like that's silly.
That sounds
That's
awesome.
silly.
If
Yeah,
you're going to launch a book,
it's
it's not bad.
insane. It's insane. It's just a privilege, right? It's just a privilege. Not everybody gets to do that. So I'm very grateful and feel very blessed for those things.
That's nice. So if somebody's trying to write a book and they haven't written it yet, is that when they come to you for that? Or is it after they've written one and they want to try and, make it a publishable book that they send it to you for approval? What's the process for that?
All of the above. So all
Hmm.
of the above. So
Okay.
for some people, we'll do full ghost written books. For some people, they have a book ready and they just want us to do the editing and package it and put it together. Some people have a book that's already done and and maybe it's even already on Amazon and they just want help marketing. So it's full service. We're definitely a hybrid publisher. So meaning we don't own the book, we don't own the manuscript, we're not into purchasing people's stories, so to speak. And the reason why, just so you're aware, I'm not in that business is I'm just not a huge fan of it. Like what happens is for most, and I just mean at the individual, at the business owner level, let's just say that you're not a super celebrity, right? If
Okay.
you're not a super celebrity, then what happens is what are you going to get a 10 grand grand, 15 grand, 20 grand, like advance, maybe that's what I was offered initially for my story. And now what? Now you have to get, well, that publishing company, they want their money back. So guess what? If you're going to get booked for a speaking engagement, you got to get their approval. You're using their content, right? You sold your
Wow.
story. So I'm like, for that little bit amount of money, I just don't, it just doesn't resonate with me. So unless you're at a celebrity level or if you have something else, but then at that point, if you're at that level, you should probably have enough money to publish it yourself anyway. I mean, just being honest, if you
Yeah.
have that
No, you're
audience, if you
right.
have that, why would you still sell it? It just doesn't, unless there's some real money and marketing dollars the publisher's putting behind it, great. But even the big ones, they're not doing that unless you're like, unless they know they're going to get their money back. So if you don't know that you're that level of talent, which most people aren't going to be, athletes included. So it doesn't mean just because people know your name, it means do people actually want to buy your book? That's what it means.
Right.
So in that case, like why sell your story? So we're hybrid publishers. So that means that work for hire. You tell me what you want to do and we get you published.
Okay. So you must love podcasting to still be doing these podcasts yourself, because I mean everything else is sort of farmed out, and you've
Mhm.
put good management in place in all these divisions, and yet you're still behind the mic on the business podcast, the money, the innovation, marketing, startup,
Mhm.
entertainment, luxury, and fitness podcasts.
Yep.
You're still sitting here where I'm sitting. Um, because you love it? You want to keep your finger on the pulse? What keeps Adam behind the mic when you're obviously in a position where you could farm that out?
Well, I take the approach a little bit differently. So in my mind, when I talked about a sport, like when I talked about it being like full contact, it's different. Like I remember growing up and seeing like basketball. I love basketball, and I think about somebody like Jordan or even like Kobe Bryant, and and I love Kobe and I love all of that. Like, and I even though I'm from Michigan, so bad boys. I grew up in that era. We made Michael Jordan by beating him up. It's okay, whatever. You're gonna get some comments on that one. But leave some comments in the comment section. It's cool. But there'd be no Jordan without us beating him up in the bad boy
Wow.
era. So
Wow. I didn't know you were going against Jordan now. All
I
right. I
was
mean,
going that far.
we
I was
may
going.
have to just end
I'm
the
not. I
interview
said.
now.
I said he's the greatest, but it's because of what the Pistons did to him. They put him in the weight room. That's all I'm saying. That's a
Wow.
fact. He
All
said it.
right. So before you started blaspheming,
Okay.
okay, on
Good.
my
Good. Good. Go
show,
for it. Go. Go. Go.
so you were about to answer the question about why you're still behind the mic
Yes.
without blaming the other mic.
Yes. I'll take that.
All right.
So, I mean, I just look at it differently. Like when I see this, I'm like, I do the math. So I'm like, okay, so this is my theory, Rory. We'll see in time if I'm right or not. So this is my theory. Based at the rate of episodes that I'm doing. In the next 10 years, 15 max, I will have the largest public catalog of any entertainer in the history of entertainment, the greatest that have
Wow.
ever done it. So I'm not talking about like I'm not comparing myself to these people, by the way. I'm not in no way think I'm great, but I'm just talking numbers wise and who we consider the greatest ever. Johnny Carson. Think about him. Think about even like Howard Stern. Think about like these are the greatest. These are people that have been. I mean, Johnny Carson, 30-year career, right? Like like huge catalog. All of those are behind firewalls. Oprah. Those are behind firewalls. You can't Google and find any interview that Oprah has ever done in her entire career. So when I'm giving you these numbers, I'm being very specific. Like I don't know what's going to happen by executing on that plan, but I know the infrastructure is in place. I know I love doing it. I know that I mean, every year the opportunity and the fun of it just increases. Like, I can't believe I'm in talks right now to do interviews of actual presidents of other countries. Like, that's silly. Come on, that's God. Like, that's silly. And the level of people that I'm interviewing and things like that, it's just like, that's not me. So, there's obviously a calling and a need and a value that I'm providing or the university. I wouldn't be, getting these opportunities. So, you combine that with the finance side of just the way I think, and it's like it'd be pretty cool to be an only. Like, what does that look like? And I'm still really young. That's still really young. So then we'll add another 10 years. And then this is where it gets real far out, Rory. Unlike the days of like a Johnny Carson or even like that, like you had a network and you aged out. Well, in this case, technically speaking, I'm doing probably half the time of work that I normally do. I'm kind of a part-timer because in the past when I started this, I was doing 70 plus interviews a week. My record's 91 in a week. So if I'm only doing 40 or 50 nowadays, that's a part-timer, right? I'm part-time, man. So so if you look at the numbers of it all, like when you look at the potential for that, like why would I stop? And the fact that I love it, I enjoy it. Today I woke up and I think I talked to somebody in Brazil. I did an interview in Brazil. I did. Where are you at located, Rory? I
I'm
don't
in
know
Indiana.
state. You're
Indiana.
in Indiana?
Yep.
Oh, there you go. Oh, that's why. Okay. So I had Brazil, Indiana, Houston, where else? London. London, I'm missing one more. It was somewhere, I believe it was in the Middle East. I think it might have been Dubai or Abu Dhabi. And that's just five different like conversations just today. So at any given point, I'm going around the world like daily. So what happens with that? And we're still small. We're babies. I'm a baby, like in the media industry. I'm an ant compared to the big industry of media. So understanding that, I don't know what happens in time. I want to find out, but it's my sport, man. I'm playing. I'm still in the game. I'm healthy. Put me in.
I love your passion for it. I mean, it just screams across the the screen. For you to be doing what you're doing and giving all the credit to God like you do, I love hearing that. I think it's fantastic. You can tell that you're drawing on that, and living in that, in a real and authentic way. I love that. I don't get that often across the table from somebody. So power to you, and that's
To
wonderful
him.
to
That
see.
ain't to
Right?
me.
Power,
Yeah,
power to
power to
him, man.
him. Thank you.
He's doing really really great things through you right now, and I think that's
Mhm.
beautiful. And you're helping a lot of folks. Um, love the way that you love you just love what you're doing though, because the bottom line is, why are you still behind the mic? I love it. I love the battle. I love going at it. Meeting people, dude. It's written all over your face.
Yeah. The early days though, but here you go. The early days though, end of the day, I'm in a fetal position with an ice pack on my head. I'm not joking. Think about those numbers
Yeah,
to do 70 something interviews, what that looks like in a week.
you've
Like
had to overcome.
that was every week. So that's just like I don't know how or why or what, but maybe after you get through a certain threshold of pain, you're like, all right, I guess we're here now.
Pain doesn't hurt anymore at some point, right?
We're
So
lifting, we're benching a certain amount, and now we're just.
cruising. No, that's fantastic. You've had to overcome a lot. I mean, all of your different, anxieties and fears and stuff about being on camera and everything else to get where you are. So that's amazing. I hate to even ask it, but it's kind of like my Arnold Schwarzenegger thing, where he has "I'll be back," and I have my corny question I like to ask everybody.
Do it.
What you're doing right now? What is it about what you're doing right now, all the way across the spectrum, that you love the most? And what is it you're doing right now across the whole spectrum? Everything you're doing that you just really dislike the most and you'd love to just throw out the window.
Mm. What I love the most is I love to see, and it's two different facets. And it's two different products. So on the book side and then on the podcast side. On the book side, the coolest thing you ever seen in your life, Rory, I'm telling you, is the first time you're doing a book launch for somebody else and you see them sign their first book. Like somebody walks up to them and asks them for their autograph. Like I've witnessed this with like CEOs, I mean, some extreme wealthy people, like tenured, have kids, have all that. And maybe for the first time in their life, feel that level of acknowledgement. It's just something different about a book. Like you wrote a book, you put this work out, all of a sudden you find yourself at a book signing and somebody walks up to you and they're like, "Oh, you're the author. Can I have your autograph?" And you see like a 60-year-old man or a 50-year-old woman or whatever their age is, 40, 30, what, it doesn't matter. I'm telling you, man, you see them, they look like little kids. It's like a moment of them looking like a little kid. It's so innocent. It's like, oh, you want my autograph? Oh, do I have a pen? All of a sudden, like they're stumbling. They can't. It sounds weird, but like that is the coolest thing ever to watch somebody be asked for their autograph for the first time and to feel that level of acknowledgement. It's something that not everybody gets in this world, and book authors they get that when they do book signings because it's the nature of it, and to see them go through that, it's just different. Or their kids like ask for their autograph or things like that at the same book sign. It's just something else. It's different. It's just it's a one and then it's a once in a lifetime experience. It's like the first time you're asked for something is just different. So that's on
Nice.
the book side. On the podcast side, whenever I see a new host like launch a new show, it's just so much fun. It's just it's and when they start, because then they're excited, they start giving stories, they talk about their kids listening to the show. They talk, so every new show we launch, like it's just fun. I get a kick out of it. I just one of our shows, it's called Hispanic Wealth Matters, and the name of the host is Jose Tejada, and he invited me on for his 50th episode. And I can remember when he did his first episode. So it was a milestone episode. So that was the first time he invited me on his show. And he's like, man, I was waiting. He's like, and then he gave this big like explanation about him starting the show. And like, I get too much credit for this. Yes. Did I talk him into a show? Yes. Did I tell him why he'd be great? Yes. But again, it's God moving his heart, not me. But anyway, I get some of that credit because he is talking directly to me. But for to hear him talk about the real backstory and what was going on and this and that in that milestone episode that we recorded together, and to see him like mature as a host, it's just insane. We have some hosts that I think are approaching now 200 episodes. So we've been had the network for a while now, and so we have many hosts that are over 100 episodes in. And so to see them hit those milestones and mature, like I'm not married. I don't have kids. I have a girlfriend. I hope one day I'll, have kids and things like that in a family. But the goal, but looking at like that for now, like my podcast shows, those are like my babies, all those different little like, and they laugh because they're, these are grown men and women, right? These are adults, but I just love it. You mentioned you had three, I think, grown kids, right?
Yep,
And
absolutely.
and you don't get no respect. Did you say that, Roddy? No, I'm just
That's true. My kids are all listening to this right now laughing. They're like,
there
"Yeah,
you go.
sorry,
Come
Dad."
on. If you don't know who Roddy Dangerfield is, then Google it, you youngins.
Exactly. Exactly. I've talked about him
So
before, and I think
you'll
I think
get the
they have.
joke. Trust me, it's funny.
Right. 100%, man. I get no
But
respect.
that's it, man. I love watching
Love it.
people and stewarding them on that part of the journey because, again, it's completely changed my life. And I want that for others to whatever their path is, by the way. It's not going to be the same as mine. Everybody's path's different.
Sure. Is there anything
What do I
about it?
not like? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that you don't
what I
like.
don't like?
Yeah.
Um, I don't like when I see people quit and they really got something. Like that breaks
Mm.
my heart. Like every time. Like podcasters, it's like, oh, it's such a process and it takes time. And sometimes people will like we've launched a couple of shows for some pretty big individuals that their shows didn't do the numbers that they thought it would do immediately. When people don't understand the craft, it's just lack of knowledge. So I'll give you an example, a brief one. So let's say you're getting 50 down, let's say 50 downloads. Let's keep it like very tangible. You're getting 50 downloads an episode. That's equivalent to, just to put that in perspective, let's say you're recording on average a half an hour. Let's call it a half an hour episode. That's equivalent to doing a keynote in front of 50 people for a half an hour. You have their rapt attention those 50 people could have spent that same time watching a Netflix episode that had a production value of 100,000 to who knows $1 million for that episode. Just depends, right? So instead of that, they listen to your show. So that's a pretty big deal. It's not like, so they compare it to things like, let's call it Instagram. You get 50 likes on Instagram. How much of somebody's time and space and mental capacity did you actually get of theirs? You didn't even get 50 seconds. It didn't take them a second to hit that and scroll. You got a millisecond. So, but let's even just say that you did get a second. You got 50 seconds. You got 1 minute basically of their time on that versus a podcast. You got 30 minutes of from 50 people. That's insane. That's amazing. And so the problem is people don't respect that and they don't understand the medium. So when they see 50 downloads, they're either comparing themselves to something else or they're comparing it to another medium. They might even be saying like, "Oh, it's like 50 views on YouTube." No, it's not. No, it's not. Podcaster listeners, they're normally going to listen to the whole episode. They're going to play it. They're not going to just listen to a minute or two. They're not going to skip after 30 seconds like YouTube. It ain't going to happen because they
Right.
wouldn't even pull up your show in the first place. So like the attribution and all those, I mean, it's just, it's so when people quit, that really bothers me, especially when I see like really talented people and talented concepts and talented shows. And I'm like, man, and then it's just lack of knowledge. Like Howard Stern, this is coming from his book. These aren't my words. These are his. He was kind of thankful for those early days when he was working in smaller markets. And the reason is because he had time to find his voice and in paraphrasing his words, he had time to develop into somebody that was worth listening to. But that
Wow.
apprenticeship stage of it is so valuable and it's so important and it's so overlooked. And because of instant gratification of maybe some other mediums, there's most of the greatest shows that could have been like people are gonna quit before they even like get have time to find their voice.
Wow. Wow, man, I love that. Just um I love the passion you have for it. And I ask you what's the thing you don't like, and you're like, when everybody else can't be happy with this. So I mean, you're a very young guy to be operating with a servant's heart like you do. I just got to tell you that. So again, yeah, very impressive. I love hearing
I still don't get no
it.
respect. No, I'm just
All right. I mean, and what are you like,
yeah, dude.
22 or something? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
seriously. I mean, you look like a kid, but you're talking like you've been around for
Yeah,
20 years, brother.
yeah.
So, I mean, it's just wow. That's
Lots of
amazing.
episodes, man.
Yeah,
It's aging me. Come on now.
you're tearing it up. But I love what you're doing. I really do, and I love that you're just always looking at, hey, what's next? Let's grow. Let's keep doing this.
Yeah.
So since that is kind of how you're looking, let me ask, what's next? Where do you go from here? I mean, keep conquering the world, keep getting bigger and bigger. You got your sights set on other avenues. What's next for Adam?
No, the total opposite. I'm about execution and focus. No, what's next is 1,500 to 2,000 episodes for the next 20 years. Let's see what happens. The other
Nice,
stuff is in terms of the model. I'm sure we'll add other profit centers. I'm sure we'll have other, things, investments, like things like that. And then if I'm lucky and if it's supposed to be it and it's God's will, then we'll attract more top talent that want to work for us and with us and bring vibrant, great ideas. And that will allow us to leverage what we're doing to maybe complement what they're already doing. So, we're open to partnerships. We're open to lots of different things. And ultimately, we just want to be aligned with individuals that are mission based and make sure that they fit our company culture, what we're trying to accomplish, and also have that, that servant's heart and that they are looking at more of what they can give and what kind of impact they can make. And if we can continue that company culture and, God willing that I'm healthy, I'm able to operate, like, then we're going to continue increasing our impact through others and by helping others achieve their goals. Like that's really what's next.
nice. Now, we're looking forward to watching that and looking forward to rooting for you along the way, man. I love what you're doing. I usually kind of wrap things with this final question, and I prepped you for it. I know you got like 15 answers all lined
Oh,
up. You're
which one?
just ready
I
to
don't
go.
remember. We've been talking all day. I don't. You prep me. Go for it. Don't lead in with that. Lead in with you don't know it's coming. Come
No,
on,
man,
Rory.
no,
Under the
no.
bus.
Yeah, no, I'm putting you on the spot, man. All right, it's time to perform. If you want to go
Go
get
go
that
go.
record, if you want that title, you got to perform under when the lights are on you, brother. Okay,
I'm
that's
in.
that's how
Go.
Jordan
Put
did
me
it.
in the game, coach.
All right. Um, Talking to other podcasters, one of the things I
Mm,
love the most about having you on here today, and that I was looking forward to with everything you've accomplished, and I told you this beforehand, was because it's just a message of hope to all the other
yeah.
podcasters that are out there, and I love that. So I want to kind of wrap things up with to other podcasters who are not where you are. Okay, maybe they're struggling, maybe they're not, but they're not where you are right now. What's your best piece of advice for them to keep them going till tomorrow?
Yeah. So I'm gonna misquote who said this. I think it was a conversation between Seinfeld and one other individual. It was in a book and they were talking about, and it was, and also there was another version of this that David Letterman said, and many other people that are of that stature. And the reason why what they did was so pivotal and it was so groundbreaking, it was so different, whether it was Seinfeld, whether it was the David Letterman show, whether it was any of that, it was because they did it for themselves. They weren't doing it for an audience. They were different. They were able to stick with it and they were able to really break ground in new media and to create things that have never been done because they were doing it for themselves. They were doing it to entertain themselves. So if you're hosting a show right now and you're not entertaining yourself with that show, then it doesn't mean you have to stop, but change the show, like change it, do something different. If you're hosting an entrepreneur show and it's getting stale and you're like, man, I interviewed all these entrepreneurs and I'm having the same conversation and it sucks, change the format. Who says you have to keep on interviewing only entrepreneurs? Some of my favorite interviews that are most dear and near to my heart right now. Unfortunately, I lost my mom last year to all things to a tornado. This is a true story. Like it was
Oh
crazy. It
my
was the New
gosh.
York Times, everything. It was like, so I lost my mom, and my favorite interviews aren't with an entrepreneur. They're not with anyone else. They're with my mom. I had her on the show a couple times. And so it was just so much fun to be able to listen to those interviews. So if you start doing things kind of like to also entertain yourself and to keep your head in the game, the only way you're going to lose is if you quit. That's it. Like that's it. And just let me give you one quick stat. 150 million plus YouTube channels, less than 4 million podcasts. We're in year one of YouTube, literally year one of YouTube. So if you think that it's oversaturated, if it's this, if it's that, you're just uneducated on it. It's okay. If you even have ever made the statement that it's saturated or there's too many, then you're just uneducated in the medium. It's okay. It may not be your full-time job. It may be a hobby. You may be listening to your cousin who said that there's a bunch of podcasts, whatever, but you just have misinformation. I'm giving you the data. So understanding that we're in year one of YouTube, if you knew YouTube was going to be what it was going to be in 20, 30 years later, would you have been putting out YouTube videos in year one? Yeah, you would have. We all would have, but we
Right.
didn't know. Well, right now you have inside information. There's going to be 50 million. There's going to be 100 million podcasts right now, and you're going to be kicking yourself if you quit or if you stop and you were in this game when there was less than 4 million. You're going to be kicking yourself. You're going to be sick over it. So just don't quit. If you're not having fun, if whatever else, I'm not even telling you what to talk about. Just keep talking. Change your show format. Change the name of your show. In this episode, we've talked about multiple name changes or a name change that we had. We weren't even Mission Matters. We were Money Matters. All right. So
Right.
like change it. Like the only way you're gonna lose in this is if you quit. But going back to like that Seinfeld, that David Letterman, that Howard Stern advice, not my advice, it's got to be something that you're interested in. If you're not interested in the topic anymore, it doesn't mean quit. It just means change your freaking show name. Do something different, but keep your subscribers. You're gonna lose some, you're gonna gain some. No different than Howard Stern moving from one radio station to another. The difference here, though, is you get to take your subscribers and your listeners with you.
Yeah. Wow. Great way to wrap that up, brother. Really is. And let me, I'd be remiss if I didn't say I'm sorry to hear about your mom.
No, thank you.
That's
Appreciate that.
brutal. And prayers to you and your family,
Hmm.
for sure. But I love the way you ended that up. I really do. Be authentic, so to speak. It's like be you, and that's great advice to any podcaster. So, and you are definitely doing that, man. You're being you. You fought through all this stuff. You've built everything you've built. You're a very impressive young man, and I really and truly am proud to have met you today. Thanks for spending so much time on the show.
Oh, thank you, Rory. And, man, keep up that work. I'm loving what you're doing too, and look forward to keep on watching this grow too as well. So thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you, brother. Folks, this has been another awesome episode of The Podcaster Nation. This is the podcast that's about podcasters. It's for podcasters. It's done by podcasters. And today we have another fantastic, example of this is the place, truly, where the rising tide raises all ships, folks. So keep sailing.